Kings and empires, a storm of fire and iron crushed every nation. The might of Babylon swept across the land, and the brightest young men of Judah were dragged away into exile. But among the defeated, a new kind of power was rising. This is the story of Daniel, a man destined to stand against the most powerful rulers on earth, proving that true strength comes not from a throne, but from an unbreakable faith. The once great kingdom of Judah had fallen. Nebuchadnezzar, the mighty king of Babylon, had swept through Jerusalem, conquering the city and carrying its finest young men back to his opulent capital. Among them were a young man named Daniel and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Although they were captives, they held an unshakable faith in the God of their fathers. Chosen to serve in the king's court, they were offered rich food and wine from the king's table. They respectfully refused, choosing instead a simple diet of vegetables and water to remain faithful to God. God honored their choice, granting them exceptional wisdom and understanding. In time, they distinguished themselves in the Babylonian court, their integrity shining brightly. Years passed, and King Nebuchadnezzar's power grew. To showcase his glory, he erected an immense golden statue and issued a decree that when the royal music played, everyone in the kingdom was to fall down and worship it. The penalty for refusal was immediate death in a blazing fiery furnace. As the music sounded, thousands bowed in obedience. But amidst the vast crowd, 3 men remained standing, their eyes fixed on the heavens: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Of the 3 friends rushed to the king, accusing them. In a furious rage, Nebuchadnezzar summoned the men and demanded an explanation. "If you do not worship," he roared, "you will be thrown immediately into a blazing fiery furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" With unwavering conviction, the 3 friends replied, "O king, we do not need to defend ourselves. The God we serve is able to save us. But even if he does not, we want you to know that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image you have set up." Infuriated, the king commanded the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. So fierce was the heat that the flames consumed the soldiers who threw the 3 men in. Bound and helpless, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego plunged into the heart of the roaring fire. But then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in astonishment. "Look," he exclaimed, "I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods." The king approached the furnace and called to them, and as he watched, the 3 men emerged without a single hair on their heads singed, or even the smell of smoke on their clothes. The flames, meant to destroy them, had become their protection. Humbled, the king proclaimed a new decree that everyone must reverence the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, for no other God can save in this way. Many years passed. The Babylonian Empire fell, and Darius the Mede rose to power. Daniel, now an old man, continued to serve with unwavering integrity, and King Darius planned to set him over the entire kingdom. This stirred resentment among other officials who conspired against Daniel. They knew his unshakable devotion to God and tricked the king into signing a decree. For 30 days, no one could pray to any god but the king. The penalty was the lion's den. Daniel, knowing the decree had been signed, did not waver. As was his custom, he went to his house, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, and knelt down 3 times a day to pray to his God. The conspirators, finding him in the act, rushed to the king and accused him. King Darius was deeply distressed, but the law was unchangeable. With a heavy heart, he gave the order for Daniel to be thrown into the den. As Daniel was lowered into the darkness, the king said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." That night, the king could not sleep. At the first light of dawn, he hurried to the den and called out with a trembling voice, "Daniel, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" A clear voice answered from the pit, "O king, my God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me." Overjoyed, King Darius had Daniel lifted from the den, completely unharmed. The silent lions, ferocious beasts by nature, had been held captive by divine intervention. The king then commanded that Daniel's accusers be thrown into the den, where they were immediately overpowered. Following this act of justice, King Darius issued a new decree to all the peoples of the world, proclaiming that everyone must revere the God of Daniel, for he is the living God. He rescues and saves. He performs signs and wonders. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. The unwavering faith of an old exile, tested in the fiery furnace and proven in the lion's den, had not only saved his life but brought glory to his God before the most powerful rulers of the world.